Welcome, everybody. TGIF. It is Friday again, and we are here for Friday's inspiration. I am broadcasting today from Las Vegas, and we have a very interesting and exciting subject today talking about the 5 signs you're being scammed by an energy healer. Scammers are everywhere right now, and they're getting incredibly desperate. And so this is just one other another layer of how people are being scammed. And of course, it's near and dear to my heart because it's unfortunate that people are taking their gifts. They don't have to pretend necessarily to even be a healer. They may have great gifts, but they're using it in a harmful way. And so this is what we're going to be talking about. So, welcome everyone, and I'd love to hear where you're calling in from. We are going to be doing a MediClearing shortly after we stir up a few things and get things stirred up so that we can clear the ways that you may become susceptible or become a victim of these people who are out there using this facade as a way to con people. So, one of the first ways is, and by the way, I noticed there's some people here who are wanting to be a scan. So, we don't do scans on Fridays. If you have an interesting comment that relates to what we're talking about, I'd love to hear that. And if you have questions about what we're specifically talking about, I'd love to answer those questions. We're saving questions for a Tuesday, which is a Q&A. And as a matter of fact, I will post this and mention this again later, is that this coming Tuesday will be our last Q&A live. So Spirit is directing me, and I'm always listening to how things need to shift and change. And Spirit is directing me that we are going to be doing something different, and we're not going to be doing the live Q&As anymore. So, if you want to, there's lots of resources that are available. If finances are something you're still struggling with, there's lots of resources available free on YouTube and lots of Q&As that from the past you could still get incredible healings from those as well. And for those who do need some serious help, consider getting a temperature report. This is where everything starts for those who really are serious about moving through things and getting some work done, getting the work done. All right, and so that you don't become susceptible or become a victim of people who are posing as healers or who may be a very capable healer but are using it in a very harmful way. There's several signs that you can look out for and pay attention to. So, one is they always start off in a way that sounds authentic. They announce themselves as a healer. They some may or may not have a reputation. Generally, they don't. And so they often are by word of mouth. Like you might hear about this amazing healer in India or Africa or some other place where healing powers are very pronounced. And there might be a go between that person who's the master healer, and they might have someone closer who is their intermediary. And they often use all the right words. They know all the right words to use, and they use many of the words that I use, like frequency and raising your vibration. And they might even be able to or claim to or say that they are measuring certain things and giving you the vibration and calibration of something. And if you personally do not know how to do these things, you often take their word for it, right? And so that's why I'm always trying to educate you on how you can do this work yourself, teaching you how you can learn how to measure things, how you can become more intuitive, how you can empower yourself. So they often use all the right words, and quantum this, and you know, they know all the languages to use. They often charge a tremendous amount of money, and they are many times after your assets. So if you have a house, maybe they want you to sell your house or your car or some other thing with these big promises. But here is a very big difference, and this is probably the number one thing that I would say is a sign that you could be getting scammed by an energy healer, is that they're selling you a solution to fear versus trying to educate you or help you to empower yourself. So this is super important because this is what they use against you. Like if they can find the people who have all these fears, whether it's a fear of dying, maybe you have a chronic illness or you have something that's physically wrong with you, and you have this fear of death, they could take advantage of that. If you have a fear of losing your relationship or some other kinds of fears. Whatever your fears are, they're going to prey on these fears. And then later, knowing that you are now a candidate for being afraid, this is how they come in and they start to manipulate you is through your fears. So I already mentioned that they often charge a lot of money with big promises to cure your solutions to your fears. Remember this word, fear is a very big thing. And three, I already did mention. They use all the right words, so they have the language down, and they know um, how to sound like an authentic healer. But maybe they don't even have a website and they're just, spouting these things, and they have their intermediary that's speaking for the master healer. Uh, Here's another really important thing, and I'll say that this is number four, is they will cord to your crown chakra. And so the crown chakra is where you get your sovereignty, where you have your personal power. And so when they're cording to your crown, they basically own you. And they've depending on what chakra they're according to, there's a chapter in my book where I go through all the different chakras and what it would mean. So the crown means that they're just taking over your sovereignty and your authority and your ability to make your own choices. And here, if they're according to your sixth chakra, they're probably planting a lot of those fears, fears that maybe not even be yours. They may be planting a lot of beliefs that may not be yours. And if they're according to your heart, they're going to make you feel guilty if you go against them and you um, start to think for yourself. The heart, they know, is a very powerful tool, a very powerful place where you access your own infinite intelligence. So basically, what they try to do is they try to take over your ability to make sound decisions, what's best for you, because you hand over your seniority to them for them to make all your decisions, what to eat, where to go, maybe what kind of clothes you should wear. Maybe they're going to disconnect you from all your spiritual tools, make you throw away your crystals and give up an altar. Or maybe they don't want you to go to church anymore. Or they don't want you to hang out with your friends anymore. So little by little, it reminds me a lot of the cult that I was in and how much they will control you, how much they control you, what you think about, what you can wear. Um, and oftentimes, these masters, especially if you have health issues, they're going to control what you're eating. Now, that might initially sound like a good idea, but in the long run, it may be to your detriment if this goes on for some time. And they'll often want more money as things go along, more money. Well, we got you through this. But they can also be having ways of keeping you sick, of keeping you enslaved, of keeping you powerless. And um, They will also use this is number 5, they will also use, spells and curses, and this is very powerful because it's like you can no longer think for yourself, and if you think this can't happen to you, I'll tell you that this even happened to me. About a year ago, I was working on my computer, and this wasn't a healer, but I'm just giving you an example of how someone can put a spell on you and you can no longer think for yourself. And so this is what happened. I was working on my computer and up pops this message about some kind of security breach with Apple or something or other. And then I get a phone call, which never answer my phone, but there was a phone call and it must have had some kind of a post that said something about Apple support. And so I thought, there's a signal here. Now this is happening here. And so I answered, and they were saying, "This is Apple support. We noticed you had some a security breach, blah, blah, blah." And I'm going, It's like connecting. And so then they sent me to a website and let me turn you over to a technician who can help you. They have me log into a website where they can tap into my computer and see what's being downloaded onto my computer by the hackers, right? So, and it's all based on fear, right? You don't want hackers. Hackers is like an attack, right? And so this went on for a very, very long time where they made me afraid of these hackers. And then, I started getting upset with them and because they wanted me to get a car key. Not a car key, but a key card from an Apple store. And, I think they knew that I was like an hour and a half from an Apple store. This was not an easy thing. So, oh, you can just go to a regular store, like a Safeway, and they will have these key cards, which is basically a gift card. And, this just went on, and they told me, oh, if you spend that the money on these cards, that you'll be reimbursed. And so I went through the first transaction and got the card, and then they did the thing and they erased some of it, but not all of it, right? And they said, "Well, we've just sent you an email for the reimbursement, so you'll know." But I'm on my phone. I'm not checking my email. They know all these things. They're very, very intelligent. They've got these things dialed in. The long and the short of it is, and I'm not embarrassed to say this because I felt like, and I knew that this was like a spell that had been put on me. They had me on the phone all day long, thinking that if I got off the phone, then the hackers could get in. We got disconnected a few times, and then they would tell me how many more hackers got in. The long and the short of it was $7,000 later. Here I'm thinking I'm getting reimbursed, and if this is a scam on my American Express card, which is where most of it went, that I would get reimbursed, not realizing that the part that wasn't the scam is they got me to buy the card. And then what I do with those cards is really my business, right? So there was not a scam in the sense that someone went out and took my card and went and bought a bunch of things. I was the one buying everything. So they knew this. So it was interesting that by when I got off the phone at the end of the day, and he would say things like, "Well, on my way to work tomorrow, I'm going to get some of these key cards for you, so we can finish up this last little bit." And he would do things like he actually cared. Made me thinking he's caring about this the whole time. And uh, so when I finally got off the phone, it was like the fog just started to lift, and I was thinking, what the heck? This doesn't seem right. All of a sudden, things didn't seem right. I called Apple Care. They confirmed it was a scam. Long and short of it, $7,000. This can happen to anyone. These scammers are getting more and more ingenious and clever about how they're scamming you. And so today we were talking more about healers though, because um, I have considered myself a healer, although in the sense that healers really know that we are not healers, right? We empower you to heal yourself. And so when these people are using things that should be for your benefit against you, then this is something that I don't say that it upsets me, but it's a wrong thing, right? And so I want to try to educate you so that this would not happen to you. So there's a few things that you can do to just do a few notes here. There's a few things that you can do to make sure that this never happens to you. So one is trust your guts. Trust your guts. And generally, something will come up that will say, it will kind of like, I'm not sure about this. Now, in my case, I measured a bunch of stuff, but it was like they disabled my ability to have a clear read on anything. I didn't really have any clarity until after I got off the phone. And so, super important though that, like in my case, I can help someone evaluate whether or not the person that they are feel they're being scammed with, whether or not, and this is why I'm trying to teach you guys how to do this stuff, uh, is whether or not they're corded to your crown. So there's several ways that these healers will interact with your energy field in a way that will kind of disable you. So, one, you can check and see if they're corded to your crown. Um, there's several other measurements that you can measure that can help you evaluate how capable this healer is. Are they authentic? So, one, are how conscious are they? This is something that can be measured. How conscious are they? How much they're in their body? Now, oftentimes, people who are only pretending to be healers, they're not in their body all the way. They might have a lot of fear and a lot of anger. Those can also be measured. So people who generally have high amounts of fear, high amounts of anger, they're not in their body all the way because it's not a comfortable place to be. So you can check if they're courting to you, where and how, and the courting to the crown is especially huge red flag. No one should be courting to your crown because they're trying to own you. You can also check and see what level is their ascension. How far have they ascended? Are they at a minus? Generally, these people are. They're at a minus in their ascension because they're not working for a good agenda. They're basically criminals. And one new thing. This is a new measurement that I'm going to be adding to my vibrational altitude report, where I measure about we're up to about 50 calibrations now. There's a new one that I have discovered that I'm going to be start measuring now, and it's becoming quite effective. And this is your light quotient. How much light are you filling yourself with? As we progress on our evolutionary path, humans should be becoming more and more filled with light as we become more and more um, connecting more and more to our crystalline nature, which is full of light. So that's another thing that can be measured is the how much of our light quotient do we have. And so this is like my mentor, Masajati. His light quotient is at 100%. Sadhguru, who is another one of my favorite people, he is also at 100%, his light quotient. Um, Panache Desai, who's another person that I love listening to, he's also, his light quotient also at 100%. And then you have people like the Dalai Lama, who unfortunately has been overtaken by the dark forces. He has about 50 fear entities that have taken over him. I'll remeasure now. His light quotient is down to about 15%. Uh, Deepak Chopra, another person who was very well known as a spiritual leader. He had been taken over by the dark forces. He at one time had 50 of these sphere entities. I noticed today it's down to about 15, but he's got a lot of control beings in his space. So he is no longer connecting to the light. His light quotient is down to 3%. So this is very valuable information when you can be able to measure where someone is. The biggest thing in checking these calibrations, and super important for you to know and recognize, like you might be checking in, but how do you know if the information you're getting is accurate? That's one of the biggest questions people ask. The number one question you should be asking is this from pure source energy? If you get anything less than an immediate yes, then you should disregard the information. So this is very important, and also for you to be paying attention to when you're working with your healer, master, whatever, whoever this person is that you're working with. How do you feel with this person? Do they make you feel more empowered, or are they making you feel afraid of everything, afraid of your friends, afraid to go places, afraid of certain foods to eat? Um, and and over the scheme of things, you realize you're really not getting better. Super, super red flags. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that this is happening. It's been happening for a long time, but now it's becoming more and more something that I'm aware of. I know there's people that come to me, and now that spells and curses are something, I've never seen this in the past. This is all new things that are coming up. All the ways the 1% and these energies are trying to um, hold down the light, hold down our brilliance and our radiance and our abilities to access more of our light quotient, our inner radiance, our heart energy, because they know that all of this is what will be to their demise. Love is the antidote, and it's like kryptonite to these dark forces. So anything that's going to make you feel bad, make you feel guilty, and make you feel afraid, all really big flags. So I'm curious if you guys have any questions about this. Maybe you've experienced this yourself, and you have some questions about how you know whether you can trust the person that you're counting on to give you some spiritual tools and help you on your spiritual path. So let me see what we have. It's okay. So here's someone who said this happened to me 3 years ago. I connected with a woman called Celeste Angelic Medium. She's a scammer. She caused me lots of problems. She just wanted money. Sorry, my English is not good. Yeah, so it does happen, and it's unfortunate that this is the case. So in in the grand scheme of things, so one of the things that this helped when I was scammed is it helped me because we know that we create everything in our reality, right? Everything that's happening, we know that there's something going on in our energy field that has created this. So when this happened to me, I started looking deeper. I didn't have any victim energy that I could find, when I measured it. But I started finding other places and other things that were attracting these darker energies. And so, yes, they are out there. but I am being affected by it much less. And but it still can happen. But when you have the tools to know how to find them, how to release these, and this is what I've been teaching you here week after week after week, is how to empower yourself. This is a super important difference. Um, After I refused her services, she courted to me, caused me a headache. I think she cursed me too. I'm glad we're talking about this topic. Yes, and thank you for sharing your experience. Some people are afraid to um, say that this has happened to them. Just like some women who are afraid to say they got raped or they were sexually abused or something like that. Like there's something wrong with them. It can happen to anybody. And I know that also recently in trying to help someone the that I was also energetically attacked, and so they will try to cord to you and put all their anger and put their spells and their curses. So this is what we're going to be looking at today when we do our meta clearing, is where we're going to be looking at spells and curses, but we're also going to be looking at the things in you that could be attracting this energy. Do you have any victim energy? Do you have fear? This is a really big one, fear in your space, because right now that's just kind of what's permeating the planet. And if you're not vigilant, if you're not being hyper vigilant to not allowing the distractions in and keeping your energy field high and protecting your energetic space, then you could become susceptible to these scammers out there. And they come in all forms, including people posing as energy healers, unfortunately. Oh, let's see. Is there any other things that somebody has a question about this? Um, this is where you can get my book, Access Your Ultimate Power, The Blueprint to Infinite Intelligence. And speaking of my book, here's Beth says, I love your book and meta healings. And yes, thank you for teaching us how we can do this ourselves. Yes, super important, super important. And please share these videos. We're here every Friday at 11:11. I've been doing this for years, educating you, and I'm always learning new things myself. I don't know everything, but I'm open to learning more and new things. And as they come in, they come through. I'm so excited to share these new things with you, like this new light frequency. And speaking of this light quotient, part of the reason that this came up was that on the 11th of this month, we are starting our next round. We only do this every other month, but we're starting our next round of daily meta clearings. So here we spend an hour talking about this and then doing a clearing. But we do these meta clearings for 21 days for about 20 to 30 minutes, and except the weekends. So every single day we're clearing energies, and every day builds on the next because we can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And so you bring an intention of something that you'd like to step into more fully. Maybe it's a habit that you'd like to break. Maybe you'd like to bring love into your life. Maybe you'd like to step into your more abundant nature. Whatever it is, we're going to keep clearing the things that are in the way of you creating more and more of your radiance and your light quotient. And now we can measure these. So I'm going to be measuring this for everyone who comes on board. If you don't have my book yet, it's a great way to get my book as a bonus. There's 2 mini courses that also come with this that you could get started on immediately. So there's people who have already joined, they're already getting started with these 2 mini courses that are designed to start releasing fear and anger in your energy field. and raising your money vibration is the other one. So, this is a really great way to clear a lot of the things that are holding you back from living the life that you choose and the life that you know you're destined for. So every other month we do this, and it's super exciting. Um, how do we stop them from courting? Great question. So one of the things I have felt like something has been affecting my head, like memory. So one of the things that I've found with courting is, and it's uh, until we can become um, as enlightened or as masterful as people like my mentor, Masajati. I'm still on the learning experience, just like all of you. I'm just a few steps ahead of you. Um, is that when we fortify our energy field, these things are less likely to influence us. And, um, but more importantly, that when they do now, because I have never found, I've been doing this for nearly 40 years, and this particular s energy stuff that I'm doing now for about 20 years, and I've tried everything and all the things that people say, put up a rose at the edge of your aura, put on invisible cloak, do this, do that. I found that all of the people that say that, they still have energy cords. So it still happens. It's much more effective to be able to know where and how they're courting to you so that you know how they're trying to manipulate you. That's what cords are about. It's a way of trying to um, manipulate you with energy instead of using words. Like if somebody wants you to do something or they want you to stop doing something, they could cord to your energy field right into your solar plexus and block your energy there so that you stop doing what you're doing. Or someone can use their words to ask you to stop doing what they're doing or have an adult conversation so that people are using their words to communicate things. So that's the difference. That's what chords are doing, is they're trying to subtly manipulate you instead of using their words. So if you know how someone is courting to you, then you know what they might be having a hard time saying. And it's much more effective if you can know what that is so that you can address it. It's much more valuable to know how they're courting to you and then knowing how easy it is to take things out. All right. So here is the program. If you want to discover a little bit more about the program that's starting on the 11th, Amplifying Your Light Quotient. And we are and so since we're not doing Q&As here, I know a lot of you are enjoying coming here and having a little bit of help, that this would be your next best option, is to come on board with us. We create a mastermind and we're all going in the same direction together. Very powerful. Please repeat the question you said to ask about pure source energy. Does anyone really tap into 100% pure source energy all the time? Don't all of us healers or not wobble there at some point? Um, yes, I would say that that's probably true. Well, yes and no. I kind of get what you're saying. So the question that I was saying to ask is, when you get an inspiration, a message, a directive, guidance, is to ask, is this from pure source energy? Is this inspiration? Is this message? Is this guidance? Is it from pure source energy? So the truth is that we're always connected with pure source energy. And but that's the question I was asking, is that when a message comes in, ask, is it from pure source or is it from some other place, some darker energy posing as the light? It might sound like a really good idea, but those energies can get in on a good idea and then start to manipulate you. So it's just important that if you have a doubt or you have a concern or it might feel a little suspicious, to trust that gut feeling. So that's what I'm saying. But we're always connected to pure source energy. The 40th layer is where we are literally where we can find this connection where we're all connected. And that 40th layer is where oneness is, where there are no divisions. And this is where we are aspiring to have a clear energy field from our inner core all the way out to this 40th layer, where we will start to experience this energy of oneness. So that's a great question. Thanks for asking that, Tara. The fear of being perceived as a scammer yourself, is this coming from yourself or is this something like a spell or curse that you won't step up as one? Um, let's see. I'm not quite sure I understand the question. Is this relatable to the imposter syndrome? Well, as I mentioned before, and so all of this was inspired by someone that I know personally that this is happening to. And um, people can this can happen in two ways. They can come off as an imposter, pretending to be a healer that has all the right words, that has the language, and that can pretend to measure things and tell you things and so forth and so on. Or in this case, the case that I'm referring to, um, where these are actually people that have access to great powers, but they're using it in a harmful way because they've tapped into my energy field at times and have tried to, I've felt their harm as a result. And so it can happen both ways. So that's the part. You're welcome, Tara. Um, how can I be free from pain body? That's not quite related to what we're talking about today, which is how we can avoid being scammed by energy healers. So Tuesday is going to be your last chance to ask a question. That would be a great question for Tuesday. And then Spirit's guiding me to discontinue the weekly Q&A. And I'm excited to see what else Spirit wants me to do next. So I'm listening and, I ask, "Is it from pure source?" And it says, "Yes." So I trust and I am connected and I've been connected for a long time. And even though that's the case, there are times, well, when I will ask, "Is this from pure source energy?" So it's always good to check in. You can never over check. You can never over, um, be cautious and making sure. So it's, super important. All right. Any other questions about our topic today? Because we are going to get started with a, quick meta clearing here, and so that you guys don't become victims. So let's measure the light quotient of those of you who are on the call today, just as an overall. Um, it's down to about 15%. So that's we've got some work to do. You guys have got some work as far as amplifying our light quotient. And those of you who come here, many of you are healers. And this is like our new job as becoming leaders of people to help everyone and helping ourselves to have a greater light quotient. So when I first started measuring this in myself, I was at 50%. And so now it's at 100 because I've been paying attention to how and where and and how that works so that we can raise it to 100%. And then on this 21 day, I now have more confidence that I can lead you to your higher light quotient, 100%. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we'll remeasure that after we do the clearing, our light quotient here. And let's measure fear, 100%. So those of you who are here and that's why you came here today, is you're more likely to become scammed by someone because of all the fear you're holding in your energy field, and they use that against you. Let's see about victim energy, about 50%, and anger, 100%. So we're going to clear those energies, and spells, about 30, curses, 3. So you're also going to see how quickly these things don't have to take a long time. It's unfortunate. This one person, they've been working with her for years. And anyway, so spells and curses, we're going to see how quickly these things can be released. And um, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get ultra grounded. Make sure you have a grounding cord that goes from the base of your spine all the way to the center of the earth, making sure it's nice and big to accommodate all this fear and anger that you need to release. And generally, about 85-95% of that is not even yours. Okay, good. So now we're going to send those roots down from the bottoms of our feet deep into our earth, connecting to the root system, the mycelium, the fungus, that highly intelligent layer that wraps around our entire globe. And then also, this is a new thing as well, is making sure that we're connecting to the crystalline grid. There's crystals that are under the Earth's surface as well that are going to help amplify our light quotient. So this is also new. Hmm. And then from here, we bring this abundant feminine earth energy up through your legs. So right now, that energy is blocked. So you're not deeply connected to the safest place ever is our planet Earth. It's not the Earth that's not safe, it's the things that are on it. That's why you might feel afraid to connect to the Earth, as it doesn't feel safe. The Earth is safe. It's what's on it. So you go deep down. The reptilians, they root down to about 3 miles. So you go way past that, way past that. There's about 4,000 miles of Earth's crust that you can connect to. All right. So now we're bringing this abundant feminine earth energy up through the legs. And any pain in the body is resistance to something. You're resisting something, the energy is blocked somewhere. So, Oliver, you can pay attention to the places that the energy is blocked for you. And then notice if you have less pain when we're done. And that goes for all of you who are experiencing body pain. And then let's see if there's a worry circle. Yes, out to that third layer where you would be experiencing that fear of stepping into your power. So I'm going to pull that energy in. Light language is wanting to come through. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so now you're ultra grounded, and you might notice that you're already starting to feel a little calmer. Now we're going to bring pure source energy in through the creative rings that are stacked above your head, where all of your dreams and desires, your intentions, your goals all live. So we're going to bring pure source down through these rings so that they're recalibrated in your highest and best interests. So through the 7, 6, 5, so right at the throat, out to that third layer. And this can block, there's a lot of communication that happens in the throat, far beyond just our words. There's also being able to project our words far enough, the energy of it, so that people actually hear what we're saying. There's also the ability to telepath, to hear the silent messages of the guidance that's been coming in. That's super important that you hear the messages from pure source energy through your communication. You communicate silently to others through our communication space here, as well as to the angelic realm, our pets. There's a lot of silent communication that also happens at the throat. So we're bringing pure source down. Okay, it's still blocked at the throat there. The energy is going out to the 15th layer. So this is the 1%. The 1% that doesn't want to hear the truth. We have been deplatformed again on Instagram. I believe it is silencing truth. We have not said anything other than what we're saying here. I don't go down a lot of these conversational paths, so they haven't told us what we did wrong. They never do. It's just you didn't follow the rules. So 2 strikes is plenty for me. And so this is part of why we're doing new things, going in new directions. So stay close here. And if you're not on our email list, you can sign up for anything that's free and be sure to check the box so that you get on our emails so you can stay connected. We never know how long we're going to be here on Facebook and these platforms, right? So it's always good if you want to stay connected to me and what's really going on, that would be a good way. Okay, so we have pure source coming down through 7654 through the heart, solar plexus, where the energy is stopping, out to that third layer. Have you been feeling stuck, kind of unmotivated, maybe a little depressed, just hard to get stuff done? That's this energy right here. So we're just going to send all this blocked power down your grounding. Great. As we bring pure source down through the solar plexus, second chakra, spilling down the root. Excellent. Now let's mix these two energies. Earth energy coming up through the legs, pure source coming down the backside. Going to bring it up the front, real close to the spine, through the second, third, where it's stopping. Goes all the way out to the 25th layer. That's fear. So we want to pull this fear in all the way into the core. Okay, so 7. So coming up from the root, 1, 2, 3. Heart, where it's stopping. It's going out to the third layer. Let's pull that in. Let's pull this in to the core. Oya enai ke kia pe puta enai ke u nea ae totoa. Coming up through the heart, throat, 6, crown, rings, through all the layers of the aura. We're going to jump out to the 15th layer. We're going to lift this 1% energy out of our energy field. And then the 30th layer, we're going to do the same. So this whole system is outlined in my book with all the illustrations so that you can do this stuff on your own. And the 20-minute meditation is also a great way to have prompts to listen to so that you can practice this on a daily basis. For those of you who haven't quite mastered your energy and are still like doing things on your own, that would be the next best bet. 30. Okay, the rest of that is clear. Let's clear the circle of reciprocity out that right arm. So the upper four chakras coming out that right arm in the left, which is blocked. So this is why you're not receiving. Great having you here, Carlos from Atlanta. So we're bringing the receiving up the left arm. So this is why you're maybe um, struggling with your financial abundance, prosperity, maybe getting the support you need, maybe having love come into your life, is that you're not allowing it in. It's not that people don't want to give to you. You're in charge of how much you receive. So let's bring the receiving in. So it's up to about the elbow now. So often we're blaming other people for not giving to us when it has nothing to do with them. Okay, up through the shoulder, down through the front and back of the heart, out that right arm in the left, through the throat, 6 crown rings. Oh, great. So that's the process of running your energy. This is the process. So this is the process we're going to do every day for 21 days minus weekends. But every day is going to be a little bit different because we're going to find new things. We get clear more and more energies. So right now we're going to check and see about spells and curses. So we just running the energy already cleared some of those because we're down to about 15 spells. We still have the 3 curses. So we use a black flame for these. That's pure darkness, highly transformative energy. And we're going to use this black flame in right at your crown, where someone is trying to influence your ability to be sovereign. This is a very big red flag if you find a healer, mentor, coach in your crown chakra. They're trying to own you. So we're going to use a black flame in the crown and in the heart and in the root. So go ahead and turn up those flames and then we'll recheck. And so have the intention of clearing spells and curses in these places. We don't have to know what they are. We just clear it. These are shortcuts. It doesn't have to take forever to do these things. So go ahead and turn up those flames. O oya ene take ku upene titiake. Ena enu papa utae ke ni io kokoa. Oi na e atete o ina pepeo. Akakea ti noa. Okay, so that cleared all the spells and curses. You can see this doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to take a long time. And what's more important, like a healer, even a fake healer, could say, oh, I just did this, I just did that. Tap into how you're feeling different. And so this is why I've been doing this here, and so that Q&A, so that people could actually experience for themselves the shift and changes that happen instantaneously. And that's something you can't fake, right? That's something that's happening in real time. This is real stuff that we're doing here. So spells and curses are now at 0. Let's remeasure fear down to 15%. We're going to go down to the root, out to that 3rd layer. And we're going to pull in this fear. There's a fear of dying in here. So that's a big one that people will use against you. That's what a lot of what's going on the planet right now is all about. they can tap into that fear of dying, and that's what makes people make choices that then become to their detriment. Okay, so let's remeasure fear now. Still at 15%. And so this is the advantage of learning how to use the infinity system is you can measure, remeasure so that you know that you got all of it. You know, you can maybe go through a technique or do a something like people who tap or whatever. If you're not measuring before and after, then you don't know if you got it all. That's why we remeasure. Okay, so there's still 15% fear. It's still in the root. Okay, in this case, this one is related to a discarnate being. So there's a dead person that's creating a lot of fear in the root chakra. So maybe this applies to a lot of you, maybe this only applies to some of you, but it's here and it wants to get cleared. So we're going to use a violet flame for the discarnate being. Turn the volume up right there in that root chakra. O oia e ne titi ako kwa me pai te tiu na oi une kia e ea. Whew. Okay, so now the fear is down to 0. So while we're looking at discarnate beings, see if there's any other discarnate beings that are in your energy field that could be causing things to be a little off. There are not. And the other thing I want to check is if there's any of them in your energy field. Like they may not be coming in through your energy field and owning your body, but they might be in the outer layers. So let's see. There's about 10. So we're going to put up an avatar for these dead people. And we're going to clear the energies that are preventing them from being able to ascend. So in their heart chakra, out to that 3rd layer, clearing some of these judgments, maybe that they carried on, feeling a lot of judgments about the way they lived their life, maybe the way they died. Right at the solar plexus, 3rd layer, they're feeling powerless without a body. And then right at the root chakra, out to the 3rd layer, where they also don't know the kind of power that they have even without a body. And a lot of them are afraid to take a next step. They don't know what it means. Okay, so these have now ascended. So those are out of your energy field completely. So this is how quickly these things can shift and change. Let's see. Fear is at 0 now. So tap in. Notice how what we just did feels different in your body. You feel calmer. Notice that. Let's measure the anger. 15%. Going to go down to the root. 3rd chakra. We're just going to pull in this angry energy that you're using as a way to motivate you. I'm not saying that's always wrong, because sometimes we need a little extra fuel to kick ourselves in the ass and get something done. But too many people use this as their default energy, and it's not their real power. Okay, so the anger's down to 0. Victim also at 0. So I'd love to hear. I was feeling a little rushed thinking we had to get off because of Instagram, but we're not doing Instagram right now. So I'd love to hear how some of you are feeling the effects of having done that energy clearing. Are you feeling lighter? Are you feeling calmer? Because this is not a made up thing we're doing here. This is the real deal. So I'd love to hear how you're feeling. And for those of you who enjoy doing this, I really hope that you'll be joining us for the 21 days that's starting next Thursday on 11/11. I'm all about the numbers. And of course, we do this every Friday. We've been here for more than 4 years, I believe, doing this at 11/11 because I know that the number one is all about how our thoughts create our reality. And so we're going to be using that energy as the foundation for this next round of MediClearings and amplifying your light quotient. So can't wait for that. There's already people who are joining, and it's going to be really a lot of fun. All right. So Tara is saying, oh, that was lovely. Feels amazing. I always appreciate your clearings. Well, you're so welcome, Tara. And we always love having you come here. So thanks for joining us. Oliver says, thank you. I feel like I have all my power back. I hope I don't lose it. Well, now you know what to do on a daily basis. And if you want more practice, join us for the 21 days. And Kim says, much more calm, centered, lighter, and sexual energy amplifies. Woohoo! My head buzzing is gone. Great job. Excellent. So, yes, there's all kinds of things that could be amplified. And, on this 21 day, you bring the intentions that you need to have amplified and where you need more joy, love, abundance, whatever it is, bring it. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy this weekend and go off and practice running your energy if this is new to you so that you can maintain these higher vibrations. In the higher vibrations is where all the magic lives. This is where everything that you desire already exists. You just need to align yourself to those higher vibrations. So I hope you will enjoy your weekend and we will see you back on Tuesday for our last Q&A. And obviously, we won't have time to address everyone's questions and I will generally taking new people first, but you can be certain because spirit is guiding this whole operation that your question and your issue will be addressed in someone else's question. And so if you're able to sit in the energy of the clearings, you'll be able to get your clearing anyway, even if your question is not asked or addressed specifically. So we'll see you on Tuesday and enjoy your weekend. Life force energy. Yes. All right. Sending so much love. We'll see you on Tuesday. Namaste.